Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for watching my video. My name is Eon and this is a January 2025 3D printing preview of Patreons, tribes, and other miniature creators from the perspective of science fiction, grimdark, futuristic sort of things. I have changed this format of my slides just a little bit here. Any feedback is always welcome and appreciated, but not too much. The images are still there to let you know what creator we're looking at on every slide, and should allow for quick browsing through. All of my videos are done alphabetically so that you can follow through however you need to get wherever you want to go, and that way I'm not showing any favoritism to one creator over another. Anvil Digital Forge is going to be our first creator we're going to look at. They're doing salvaged automata and robot scrappers this month. Archvillain Games for the month of January 2025 is doing Ardir Syndicate Oppression. So here we have an Ardir Quester and a Hound, and they come with multiple versions of these Questers. We also have some Breachers that come with these large shields. These guys come in multiple sculpts. We're only doing a preview here. They remind me of the GCPS Enforcers from Mantic Games. Here we have some Free Will-ish. And on the right we have a Repressor. Lots to expect from Archvillain. Battle Cat Miniatures has done a preview for their releases. Now these aren't exactly science fiction, but they're involving guns and artillery, so we're going to include them here. Here we have the 1812 French Horse Artillery. Here we have the French Horse Artillery Guard. We have the World War II German HQ and the World War II Japanese HQ. I'll also mention that they've actually done a couple of Romans this month, so those are in my fantasy video. I felt like that was more fantasy than science fiction, but at the time it would definitely been science fiction, but for our purposes we'll call it classic. So if you want to check that out, be sure to do so. And here we have a World War II Japanese Type 2 Kami. Crippled God Foundry is doing Knolls this month, both fantasy and in science fiction. And here we have Roar of the Warrior. So we have some Knoll Bikers on the right. We also have some Knoll Raiders. And then we have a Leonin Headhunter. And also that Headhunter on bike and as a Road Warrior. You know, this strikes me as a different take on The Lion King. I would kind of like to see that one actually as a movie. And for terrain, we have an abandoned gas station. Cyberforge Studio is doing their typical Grim Realms War release and Titan City Stories Skirmish or RPG release. So for January, we're going to see Motherland, which includes Jan Hearth, and then Yagunia. On the right, we have Kodiak, and apparently this is Kodiak's militia. There's also some civilians, which I feel like go more with this part of their release. For their Wargaming tier, we have Shadow Knights. I think this is the second month of this army. We have a Cleansing Squad. Notice they have the 3-barrel heavy weapons here. And here we have the, I guess, flamethrowers with the vents. And then we have the cone shape, what I would believe to be a laser. And then we have some that have both a melee weapon and a pistol. Not actually in their hand, it's on their hand. And we have Lord Drake Alder. And of course the big miniature is the Shadow Master in Bane Dread Knight, along with some playground terrain. They have their Grid Runner terrain as well. I'm trying to figure out if that was like school building vibes, but I don't think so. And we have some bases over on the right. Dakka Dakka has put out their January preview, and you're getting like 4 different armies worth of, or is that 5? I think I can't count. Space Knights, Midnight Sun Covenant, Unholy Space Coven, the Minor Rat Vanguard, and Rockhead Gangs. So we do see the swarm of minor rats. So these are, it's a build kit. You can put these together in multiple ways. We have a Gargant Digger Rat and a Mine Rat Shift Supervisor. I feel like we've already seen this guy previewed. Is he just now coming out? We have the Minor Rat Bikers. And then HDHI Part 2. That is the Holy Department of Heretical Investigations. You know, someone, like a Ministry of Misinformation. We have the Ignosaurus Clan Warriors Tactical Squad. We have the Commander Mark I from the Midnight Sun Covenant. And this is a loyalty reward, Grimwald the Fused Twins. Edge Miniatures has done a preview of miniatures, mostly their 28mm range, and this seems to be some Skyborn Scavengers and some Hunters from the Tech Pirates. Not sure we've seen Skyborn Scavengers before. They remind me, again, I've mentioned before on this video, a lit RPG series called Dungeon Crawler Carl, and one of the main secondary characters is originally a skyfowl, is what they refer to, and I would imagine maybe something kind of sort of like this. Not exactly, but... And then we have Tech Pirates over on the right. Maker's Cult is doing Daughters of War, and I'm not 100% sure that this is a January release. All I know it's a preview, so I don't know if this is a release they're doing directly to the store, if it's for in the far future, but this is the Aspirant Anatolia, and it's just a single miniature. She comes either with her helmet up or her helmet down, and is designed to be like, I believe to be the first of a set that will inspire a whole range. And a lot of people really enjoy seeing basically Sisters of Battle sorts of characters, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check this out. Mantic Vault has released their January preview, and when you look at this, you'll see it's mostly a fantasy release, except for about 2 things over there on the right. So let's take a look at those. So here we have this, I've lost it. It was in my head. And then this is a supplement to one of your vehicles. This is why I have to write this stuff down. I believe it's a Marauder was what that was. Mr. Modulork has done a very small preview of his January release. Yeah. Nerikson has released the previews for January, excuse me. Neo Nixie diorama, I can't be killed by conventional weapons. And one of the things with Nerikson is you do get a couple of releases, and these are always extremely, extremely detailed. Down to the bunching of the fabric, the layers of clothes within clothes, the stitching. There's just a lot of detail there. We also have Neo Nixie standalone. We have Ramona the Wasteland Warrior. And a bust. I'm not sure of who. One Page Rules is doing Wood Elves and Human Defense Force this month. That's the fantasy and the science fiction release. You'll notice here that for February and March, we will continue to have Wood Elves and Human Defense Force. We'll also get some new fantasy terrain in February. And in April, there will be a new science fiction army, which I don't believe has been announced yet. So let's look at what's coming in January of 2025. Pretty nice dual tread tank. This is actually a Dwarf Guild's character for the Grimdark Future Star Quest game that they have released. So they are now doing a monthly Star Quest character, just like they do for Age of Fantasy quests. There will also be some terrain released, and this as well. Again, I'm wondering if this is actually the first previews of the fantasy terrain. But, because this could go well for fantasy, but it could also go well for science fiction, too. Piper Makes has done some preview art of concepts for the month of January. Project Mobius has put out both January and a February preview, but more from just text. For January, we can expect to get a power generator, a turret with missile launcher and plasma gun switch outs, small barrack storage, and a small troop transport. And if we look, I think these are those part of the January release. This is from a while back, but I think this was the January preview. I may be wrong. Not all the Patreons are very clear as to, hey, this is a preview of what's coming, but when is it coming? RPG Figures has done this preview for January. Traders Galaxy Miniatures and Games has done Space Portal Attack. This is their preview for January. I know this is based on Transformers, so the fact that they include a power line, essentially, is actually pretty telling in my opinion, because that's what I remember most of the plots of most of those cartoons being all about. The Decepticons were taking energy from something that they shouldn't be because they always wanted Energon. And they released this image as well as to things looking forward into 2025. interested to see that firehouse come together. Again, Txarli Factory is released both fantasy and science fiction terrain. Here's the science fiction terrain. Some ruined, destroyed vehicles. Wargames Atlantic has put out their January teasers, and again, I can't quite tell you exactly what is what, so you can pause here and read through this. And yeah, here we have some guys with rifles. I almost put these guys in the fantasy, and then I saw the guns in their hands, and I'm like, and the bandolier of bullets, and I was like, oh yeah, that's not really fantasy. Here we can see some guys with various different sorts of headgear. Pretty sure this is the harvester egg nest that they mentioned. And I believe these are the female bulldog infantry. Well, that's all the stuff I was able to find for the January preview, which comes in just a few days now. Hope everybody's had a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. I'll talk to you soon.